news from around the globe. Hot, fresh, balanced and objective.
Hello and welcome to News Hour on Unity TV. Today is Friday, 12th of May 2022 and it's equivalent to 22nd of Shawwal 1444 after Hijrah. The headlines. President Buhari appoints Umar advisor on security. Group condemns zoning of 10th Assembly, urges party to review decision. Adeleke preaches peace, says he has forgiven all those who offended him. And on the foreign scene, Sudan calls for classification of RSF as terrorist group. And in sports, under 17 AFCON, Nigerian Golden Eaglets eliminated after losing to Burkina Faso. And those were the headlines. And for details and more of the stories, I am Rukayat Sani Ibrahim. President Muhammadu Buhari has appointed Garba Baba Umar, retiring Assistant Inspector General of Police, as a senior security advisor on international police cooperation and counter-terrorism in the office of the Minister of Police Affairs. The appointment is to enable Nigeria keep the important position and make way for him to complete his nationally beneficial tenure as an executive member of the International Police Organization, Interpol. Malam Garba Shehu, Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to the President, said President Buhari took note of a precedent in which a former executive member, AIG Kamal Subair, retired, was retained in service by the federal government of Nigeria after retirement in 2018. Mr. Shehu said President Buhari also took note of the fact that during his tenure as a member of the Executive Committee, AIG Umar assisted Nigeria in many ways. He expressed hope that in the remaining 1 year, he will even do more in securing equipment for crimes, border management and counter-terrorism for the country, and in helping to get more Nigerians into important positions in the Interpol. Malam Shehu said AIG Umar's tenure at the Interpol will end in November 2024, and his new appointment as Senior Security Advisor took effect from 16th of May 2023. The Plateau State Elders Forum has called on elected members of the House of Representatives, both old and new, to back a Plateau State candidate for the position of speakership in the Green Chamber. This comes when the forum rejects in totality the APC zoning agenda of the National Assembly positions to some regions and abandoned orders. It will be recalled that two frontline candidates vying for the position in the North Central Geopolitical Zone, Ahmed Idris Wasai, the outgoing Deputy Speaker, and Yusuf Adamu Gakdi, are from Plateau State. The Elders Forum said each of the two candidates possesses unassailable credentials, saying while Idris has served diligently using his long legislative experience, Honorable Gakdi, on account of his legislative dexterity and skills, has sponsored the highest number of bills by a member in a single first term, with 6 having been assented into law by the President. The Elders Forum, in a statement issued and signed by its spokesperson Jonathan Ishako, have urged that apart from the resourcefulness of the Plateau State candidate, it is in the interest of fairness and justice that the state be given the opportunity to lead the House. Noting that while the Northwest and Northeast geopolitical zones have produced a speaker 4 times and 1 time respectively, the North Central has never produced one. Meanwhile, the elders have appealed to the two candidates to unite and allow only one of them to stand, arguing that doing so will brighten the chance of the state to get the position. They said this will be in the best interest of the state, as both of them are high-quality candidates who have demonstrated that they both are great legislative assets to the nation. The All Progressives Congress (APC) has set aside the suspension of Barnabas Jemade and 6 others by the Benue State chapter of the party. The APC in Benue had on Wednesday announced the suspension of Mr. Jemade and others for alleged anti-party activities. However, in a statement on Thursday, the National Policy Secretary of the APC, Felix Morka, said the suspension have been set aside by the National Working Committee pending a review of the allegations. Mr. Jemade, a former senator, contested the governorship primary election against Hyacinth Alia, the Benue State governor-elect. The former senator was accused of working against the party because he lost his polling unit, ward and local government area to the opposition. Mr. Jemade served as a minister and later the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Apparently unsettled by the growing protest by aggrieved aspirants to the 10th National Assembly presiding office, The governing All Progressives Congress APC has agreed to revisit the zoning of the 4 presiding offices, vowing to pressure national chairman of the party, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, assured aspirants for the Senate presidency who stormed the party's national secretariat in protest on Thursday that the party will go back to the drawing board with a view to reviewing the zoning formula. Adamu admitted that the zoning list was flawed because it was drafted without adequate consultations. The aspirant, who said one of them, Senator-elect Osita Izunaso from Imo State, was unavoidably absent, came barely 24 hours after some speakership aspirants also stormed the National Secretariat in protest on Wednesday over the choice of the next Speaker of the House of Representatives. The aggrieved Senate President aspirants, who met with the party's National Working Committee, threatened to disobey the party's directive on the current zoning arrangement if it is not reconsidered. They are former Zamfara State Governor and Senator-elect Abdul Aziz Yari, former Governor of Abia State and Senator Chief Whip Oji Uzo Kalu, Senator Sani Musa, Senator Sadiq Umar, and their colleagues who joined them in solidarity. The speakership aspirant, referred to as the G7, had equally taken their grievances to the NWC on Wednesday, saying the party's leadership should be prepared for a repeat of what happened in 2015 when those endorsed by the party could not emerge as presiding officers of the National Assembly. APC had on Monday officially announced the endorsement of former Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, as President of the Senate, and Senator Barrow Jibril Kanu, North Senatorial District Northwest, as Deputy Senate President. The party also named Tajuddin Abbas from Kaduna State Northwest as the next Speaker of the House and Benjamin Kalu from Abia State Southeast as the Deputy Speaker. Responding to submissions by senators-elects Yari, Kalu and Musa, the national chairman of APC Adamu took responsibility for the zoning list of the party, saying it was drafted without adequate consultations. He pleaded with the aspirant to cease fire and wait for the final outcome of another meeting when the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu returns to the country, assuring that this time around consultations will be enlarged. Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has said that he nursed no grudge against anyone, describing himself as a governor for all Osun residents. Governor Adeleke, who spoke at the palace of Ataoja of Oktobo, Oba Jimo Oyetunji, and Timi of Ede, Oba Munuruddin Lawa, after his Supreme Court victory, commended the royal fathers for their staunch support during his struggles. In a statement by his spokesperson, Olawale Rashid, obtained by Vanguard on Thursday, Adeleke said he has found a place in his heart to forgive his difficult critics. In his remarks, the Ataoja of Oshogbo, Oba Oyetunji, said given the sound footing Governor Adeleke had started his administration on, it has given a clear signal of a departure from the past and a brilliant outcome of what to expect. On his part, Oba Lawal offered praises to God for the eventual victory of Governor Adeleke and extended the appreciation of Ede people to all Osun and national stakeholders for their strong backing for Governor Adeleke. The royal father, who recalled the tough battle and enormous sacrifice of many loyalists and admirers of the governor, said for 12 years he was backlisted at the state level as a PDP traditional ruler, thanking God for the final outcome and giving all the glory and adoration to God. The Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pingasan, on Thursday in Abuja, expressed concerns over Nigeria's 77 trillion naira public debt. Addressing the 7th Triennial National Delegates Conference of the association, its president, Mr. Festus Osifo, said the debt profile as at the first quarter of 2022 was mind-blowing. He noted that poor implementation of fiscal and monetary policies and policy inconsistencies work against the economic growth and development of the country. Osifo also called on the incoming government to seek other approaches to revenue generation. He expressed concerns about the current state of the country's economy, saying what was expected was a steady growth in the GDP, increased access to employment and diversification of the economy. The Pengasan president noted that Nigeria's economy was confronted with challenges of structural imbalance, corruption, weak human capital development, inequality, security challenges, and excessive dependence on oil revenue. He stressed that these were some of the key challenges that the incoming government should tackle with sound and coordinated strategy in consultation with relevant stakeholders and industrial experts. Osifo also commended efforts being made in the completion of various gas-related projects. A non-partisan group in Naraguta B ward of Jos North local government area has called for a fresh conduct of the 2020 gubernatorial and House of Assembly elections in the ward to enable electorates exercise their franchise. The non-partisan group made the call following the action of Jos North INEC electoral officer to collate and return results of the ward even when INEC officials of the ward allegedly went missing. The group alleged that electoral crimes and offences were unleashed on the political ward as beavers machines and alleged electoral materials were either stolen or diverted to unknown destinations to the effect that elections could not be conducted in the ward. While noting that injustice committed during the exercise in their ward was never addressed by the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC, the non-partisan group in a statement jointly signed by ASO Usman Ahmad, Adamu Abdullahi, Solomon Kaiwa and Ibrahim Muhammad expressed optimism that with tribunal there is commitment and resolve to do justice to all those who are aggrieved because of one electoral issue or the other. Troops of Operation Hadinka in conjunction with the troops of the Sector 4 Multinational Joint Tax MNJTF have killed many Islamic State of West African province ISWAP terrorists while repelling attacks by the terrorists in the northeast of Arege in Abadam local government area of Borno State. It was gathered that the ISWAP terrorists made an audacious attempt to infiltrate the advancing troops harbor using a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device on May 10, 2023, sources said. In Maiduguri, the terrorists encountered fierce resistance with the troops unleashing heavy firepower and took over the approach VB 300 meters to them. The information was corroborated by Zagazola Makama, a counterinsurgency expert and security analyst in the Lake Chad region. The troops with support from the Air Task Force neutralized additional terrorists while others were forced to flee. The source added that 2 of the terrorists' vehicles were destroyed and about 10 of them were killed. And on the foreign scene, the Sudanese government has called for the classification of the Rapid Support Forces (RSF) as a terrorist group. Sudanese ambassador to Nigeria, Muhammad Abdul Manan, who spoke of his country's stand yesterday in Abuja, added that it had also not shut the window on dialogue and readmittance of RSF back into government and dissolving it into the country's army. Abdul Manan said the violation of the truce by the RSF stands condemnable, but reassured that government will employ strategic measures to ensure safety and protection of all foreign communities in the troubled country. According to him, the country will honor its obligation under the international laws and Vienna conventions to protect all premises and staff of diplomatic missions. Despite the prolonged battle with RSF, Abdul Manan said the Sudanese armed forces was in control and had increasingly rounded the mutinied RSF as outlaw militia. And in sports, Nigeria's under-17 team Golden Eagles have crashed out of the ongoing under-17 African Cup of Nations AFCON in Algeria. The team lost 1-2 to their Burkina Faso counterparts in the quarter-final of the event at the Nelson Mandela Stadium on Thursday. The result means that Nigeria could not rescue a ticket to the 2020 FIFA Under-17 World Cup in November after failing to reach semi-finals of the ongoing AFCON. In March, Abubakar Kamara put the Burkina Faso team in the lead at the 45th minute of the play, playing a defensive error from Tochukwu Obiji. Nigeria's goalkeeper Richard Odo made an effort to block the ball, aiming for the back of the net, but without much power in that attempt. The ball fell at the penalty area and needed Oboji to clear, but an indecisive attempt gave Kamara the chance. Oboji also adjudged to have fouled Lassina Traore in 18-yard box, and penalty was given against Nduka Ugbade, toucher side of the 57th minute. Kamara converted to increase the goal tally for his side. Nigeria, however, responded 10 minutes later via a tap-in by Abubakar Abdullahi to reduce the goal deficit for the home team. Abdullahi's effort was not enough to see the Golden Eaglets through as the game finished in favor of their opponents. Meanwhile, Morocco, Mali, Senegal and Burkina Faso have all booked places at this year's World Cup. And with the sport news, we've come to the end of our bulletin for today. You can follow us on our social media handles at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Unity Radio FM TV, respectively. You can also watch us live on the satellite decoder and ICOMSAT, which has been watched in about 8 countries of the world free. You can also watch us live and stream us on our YouTube channel at Unity FM TV. I am Rukayat Sani Ibrahim. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of our programs.
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was seeing things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.
Unity